Hey everyone, Bob Thibodeau here. Welcome to another session of podcast training. Praise the Lord. Now, for those of you who don't know, this training concept is designed to get you from concept to launch and into monetization. And in order to monetize things, you have to have a business plan. And in order to have a business plan, you got to know what you're doing. You need to know where to reach out to. You need to know where to advertise, where to promote your podcast. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. All right. Now, one of the big bears in the room, if you want to call it the elephant in the room, whatever, is social media. Everybody knows social media is the place to be. But if you don't know what you're doing or why you're doing what you're doing, you're not going to make it. You're going to fail more times than not. And that's one of the things I want to try and help you to avoid. As you all have heard my story, when I started, I was basically teaching myself. For the first 2+ years, I was doing what was called podcasting. I had no idea what it was even called a podcast back then. It was just my online radio program. If I had to teach myself, I had nobody to show me the way, and I basically learned by making mistakes. Thomas Edison once said, someone asked him, didn't it get discouraging when you failed 20,000 times to invent the light bulb? And he said, discouraged? Why would I be discouraged? Every time I failed, that was one more way I knew did not work. It was bringing me one step closer to the way that it would work. And ultimately, he succeeded. That's kind of how I entered my podcast training days. I didn't know what worked. I tried something. Ooh, that sounds terrible. Don't use that setting. And then try and adjust and do the next program the same way. Hopefully, something would work. Finally, when I got it where it sounded good, great. Okay, now how do I make the recording better? Can I play music in the recording? Oh, that didn't work. Can I do an interview in the recording? I can't hear the person. Did the whole recording, can't hear the other person. That doesn't work well either, right? So I taught myself all this stuff. Well, I learned by making mistakes. I learned what not to do. And then as I learned what not to do, I also learned what worked and did that by repetition. And that's where I can come in and help you. I can help you to avoid those pitfalls. I can help you not to make those mistakes. And I can show you what works for me and probably will work for you if you implement it. Again, every person, every podcast, every goal, every objective is different for every person. So you might be able to take 90% of what I do and use it for your program and then adapt the other 10% the way that makes it unique for you. But that's the whole thing. It has to be unique to you. Like I said, I can show you what works with me and I can help you along those lines. Well, today we're going to start probably next couple of weeks, next couple of sessions. We're going to talk about building your brand through social media. And I've got put up this PowerPoint here. Again, as always, I ask that you hold your questions till the end. I'm a one-person show here right now, and I can't be reading the chats and managing the PowerPoint and trying to remember what I'm going to talk about if I'm doing too many things at once. So I'm not even going to open up my chat box. I'll open it up at the end. As always, I'll take your questions. Whenever we do this, I always take your questions live after the recording portion is over. So once I stop the recording for the training, then I'll take your questions live. All right. So let's go ahead and get this started. I'll share this screen over here, and you should be seeing that now. All right. Now, podcast training using social media to grow your brand. What is your brand? That is the all-important question, right? What is your brand and why is it important? Now, your brand is basically how the world views your podcast, how the world views your business. What do they see when they look at your website? What do they think when they hear your name or the title of your program or your product or service? Because the brand is how the world looks at you and your brand, your product, your service, okay? Your brand is what will help you to stand out from the crowd, from everyone else. You could have 1,000 people selling shoes, but if all of them were black lace-up shoes and you came out and sold tennis shoes or sneakers or whatever you want to call running shoes, you would stand out from the crowd. You're still selling shoes, but you have narrowed your niche down to, they can have all of the dress shoes they want. I'm going to focus specifically on running shoes or tennis shoes or football shoes, and you'll stand out from the crowd. That's what your brand will become. And if you have a podcast, it is also what will help you stand out among the crowd is if you narrow your niche down to a specific thing. I'm in the Christian niche, all right, with Kingdom Crossroads podcast. It's one of my podcasts. I'm also in the team building and business building niche with my other podcasts about team building and leadership training. And then I also have the podcast training platform called Ask Bob, where I answer questions about podcasting. So I have 3 different niches, and the concept is unique to each of the 3. The Ask Bob podcast is simply a Q&A. I take questions that have been given to me and I provide answers to it. Okay. I don't do anything else. I just answer the questions. That keeps it short, 5 to 7 minutes. I think a couple of them may have gone 10 because I got long-winded. But I try to keep it 5 to 7 minutes. And what that does, it provides a specific answer to a specific question. And that's a very popular podcast. People like that because there's no fluff to it. The leadership and team building one, it gives different leadership principles, different ways of you being able to build your team, make your team more effective and things like that. That also has a good following. In the Christian podcast, the Kingdom Crossroads podcast, I've narrowed this down to specifically doing interviews with other Christians about their business, their ministry, what they're doing in the world. Now, I've tried to stay away from the preaching aspect of it because there's enough people out there with programs to do that. I also have a Sunday morning radio show that does that. But the interviews I do are with authors, musicians, missionaries, Christian business owners that operate secular businesses but do so with Christian principles. Think Hobby Lobby and Chick-fil-A as examples. Okay, and I also interview some well-known Christians who have Christian broadcast radio programs. I've interviewed Michael Brown, David Reagan, Nathan Jones, and a lot of others. So that's what I do. That's the niche I have narrowed mine down to, and it works for me. You need to narrow down what you do into a specific niche that works for you, because you have to be able to stand out from the crowd. You just can't be everything to everyone. So your brand can help you in your marketing aspect also. You need to know what it is you're trying to do. Are you just trying to get more listeners, more downloads? Are you trying to sell products through your podcast? That will determine what path you need to take and follow. So how can you develop your brand? Depends on who you're trying to reach. If, again, you need to narrow down your target audience. You need to know who it is you're trying to reach. If your podcast or product or service is about helping group A, then you need to narrow everything you do right down to helping group A only. It's like this training program right now is designed to help basically new podcasters. If you already have a podcast, it's designed to help you also improve your podcast. But specifically, I am helping people who are starting a podcast or thinking about starting a podcast to negotiate those dangerous first few weeks of getting this thing up and running. Okay. And then I'm there to help them grow it in the end as well. But that's why my tagline is from concept. First, thinking about how to do it, from concept through launch, and then into monetization. That's my niche. That's where I try and help, which is Group A. If you focus all of your effort just helping that group of people, and other people from other groups, people who already have podcasts, they want to come in and find out how to make their podcast better. Someone who may have had a podcast for a couple of years and let it slide, and they want to revive it. Those are different groups, different niches. They can also come into this podcast training program. But I'm gearing all of the training to helping people who are just starting out. So I will get other people from other groups, but they're coming in, they're going to find out what I'm sharing with new podcasters. That's where I focus all of my training. So because these other people are coming in, should I change my focus and maybe start doing some advanced training? Well, if you already had a podcast and you let it go for a few months, this is how you can revive it and all that. That's not going to help someone in my focus group, right? So no, you do not change what you're doing just because you have, let's say 70% of your clients are in Group A and 20% are in Group B and 10% are in group C. You do not change what you do to market to the 30%. You continue to help the 70%. That's the only way you're going to be a success at this. So do not stop focusing on group A. Now you can maybe market a couple of special products, maybe write a book or a training program, helping someone revive a podcast, something like that. But you should not make that the focus of everything you're doing. I said, maybe, just maybe you can help them with a couple of specific trainings or a couple of specific products. But for the most part, you want to keep all of your focus on your target group. So determine who you're trying to reach, then determine what you're trying to do to help your target market. I emphasize that word help, not sell to your target market. You do not want to design a program. You do not want to design marketing. You do not want to design your advertising to sell your target market. You have to help them. When you get out of this selling mindset and into the helping mindset, you'll be surprised at how quickly your business will pick up, how quickly your podcast will become popular, how quickly the downloads will increase, how quickly people will start coming to listen to what you have to say, because they're not being sold, they're being helped. I'll take example the podcast Ask Bob podcast, where I answer podcasting questions. I do this just to help them over a stumbling block. How do I do this? I'll answer the question 5 to 7 minutes. There's no charge for it. It's put out there. It is just a service that I do. But guess what? My other podcasts and training programs are benefiting as a result of that, because I'm not there to sell people anything. I'm there to help them. And people, they really appreciate it when people try and help them. Okay. So if you're trying to help someone increase their email or marketing list, don't worry about helping them to develop widgets. Somebody else can help them to develop widgets. They hired you, or they're coming to you for help in developing their marketing and their email list. That's the only thing you should focus on, as an example. Okay. If you're selling those shoes again and you see 100 people passing by 10 different shoe racks out there that 10 different people, including you, have, and you're getting 3 sales out of the 10 just from your sportswear shoes, your tennis shoes and running shoes and things like that. That means the other 9 are dividing up the other 7 sales. You're getting 30% of the business. Don't worry about what the other 9 are selling. Don't worry about that 70%, because they're only getting less than 1% of the business. You're getting 30%. Stick with what you're good at. Stick with what you know. Stick with the marketing plan and focus on being the best at what you are doing. All right. Let other people sell them the dress shoes. You stick with what is working for you. Focus only on those things that will help your clients to develop their marketing list and clients in the example I just gave. Okay. So we know you have to determine who it is you're trying to reach, determine what you're trying to do to help them, to help the people in your target market. And then you have to develop a marketing plan. Okay. I'm not talking about a 12-page, 27-step, 14 different platform, 37, email sequence over 37 days. I'm not talking about that, but you have to have a plan. You have to have a plan. And social media, you definitely need a plan, because each different platform has different rules. Each different platform has different formatting methods. Each different platform may have a different target audience. All right. You need to remember that as well. So you have to have a plan for each one of your social media platforms you're ministering to. And the only thing you should talk about is helping people get over their pain, whatever pain that may be. It could be marital pain. It could be teenager pain. It could be physical pain. It could be financial pain. Whatever your target market is, you need to minister them in that area. You need to help them get over that pain. Mine is helping people who are struggling to start a podcast. I'm helping them to get over that pain. All right. Again, the big 3, and there's several out there. I mean, I could add Instagram and Pinterest and a couple other ones to the list, but the big ones are Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Okay, those are the big 3. Put it like that. Those are the ones everybody's on, it seems like. LinkedIn is getting more popular. It's not as popular as some of the others, but you'll find out as you get into it, it's a very narrow group of people and it's very well received. Okay. First, studies indicate that the average Facebook post, you post something on Facebook concerning your target market. I'm helping you to improve your email list, or something like increase your email list. You put that on Facebook. You think, I'm advertising on Facebook. This post that goes out now, this is awesome. How long does that post last? 5 hours. In 5 hours, that thing is buried so far down. Now, within 5 minutes, it's already slipping down. If you noticed, if you go to your news feed, your on your page, your news feed, you make a post, immediately is right there at the top. Come back in about 2-3 minutes, it's 2 or 3 down. Come back in 5 minutes, it's 4 or 5 down. And that's your page, right? But in 5 hours, it's so far down, it's not going to be seen again. And these are statistics. These are our facts, okay? So if you want to use Facebook to promote your brand, and to promote your brand, you need to get it in front of people. They need to be aware of it. They need to be constantly reminded of it. Have you ever noticed on the radio, whenever they hear, call us at 1-888-555-5555, right? They will give that number 2 and 3 and 4 times because repetition is the key. Your Facebook posts, LinkedIn posts, Twitter feeds, and all that, that's the same thing. In order to market your brand, market your products, market your help, you need to be out there repeatedly. And if a Facebook post only lasts 5 hours, that means you need to post at least 4 to 5 times a day. It could be the same post, but these posts should at least be promoting your brand. And I would kind of stay away from promoting the same post 5 times a day. There's nothing wrong with promoting it over 5 days, and every day you're doing a new post, but we'll get into more of that in a little bit. But you see, you need to post on Facebook at least 4 to 5 times per day. Twitter, do you realize there's 30 million daily active users in the United States on Twitter? 30 million. Now, that doesn't mean 30 million people are just blowing Twitter up. It means 30 million people are reading what's tweeted, right? Who's doing the tweets? 80% of the tweets come from 10% of the people, all right? So there's 30 million people out there every day on Twitter. Only 3 million of them are posting 80% of the tweets, okay? Most users only tweet twice a month. Why are you on Twitter if you're not going to be using it to help promote your brand and your marketing? 2 a month, that is absolutely nothing. But the top 10% of users tweet 5 times per day. Again, just like on Facebook, right? How long do those tweets last? The average Twitter post will last, you're going to love this, 18 minutes. 18 minutes. Facebook post lasted 5 hours. This is only going to last 18 minutes. So you could theoretically post 3 times an hour all day long. 3 times, let's say 20 hours. That's 60 tweets. There are some people who do that. I get those feeds just like you do, right? They're on there constantly, like, golly, all you do is tweet all day, right? But when your average Twitter tweet lasts 18 minutes, and the whole purpose of branding is to stay in front of people, you need to be doing this. Now, if you do it 10 times per day minimum, at least you'll be in the process of building your brand. 10 tweets per day minimum to build your brand on Twitter, okay? And like I said, if you want to do 20, 30, 40 a day, that just makes it better as far as branding is concerned. But if you're doing less than 10, you're falling behind the power curve, okay? So far we know you got to do at least 5 on Facebook, and now we know you're going to do 10 on Twitter. There's 15 posts per day so far that you have to do in order to be effectively building your brand. Then there's LinkedIn. LinkedIn is started mainly as a business platform where you could post your resume, get hired for a job, things like that. It has grown into a massive social media marketing platform. This thing is rivaling Facebook and Twitter, and the connections you're making are absolutely awesome. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. Couldn't hold it anymore. Now, the average post on LinkedIn. Now, we know Facebook's 5 hours. Twitter is 18 minutes. How long do you think the average post on LinkedIn will last? 24 hours. Wow. You mean I could post once a day? Yeah. Now, remember, the longer the time frame, the lower it goes. By the 24th hour, 25th hour, it's not even seen anymore. All right. So if you posted 3 or 4, 5 times a day on LinkedIn, you're going to be right up at the top of people's feeds. This is awesome, right? What a platform. So now we know you're going to do 5 times on Facebook, 10 times on Twitter, and let's say 5 times now on LinkedIn. You are effectively marketing your brand. You are effectively beginning to market your products and services. But that takes 20 posts for you to do each and every day. And again, we'll cover that here in a little bit. I want to talk to you about LinkedIn. LinkedIn's mantra is people you know talking about things you care about. Everything you need to know about LinkedIn is right there in that mantra. Look at it again. People you know talking about things you care about. What do you read in between those lines and words? Well, for the rest of this training, that's what we're going to talk about. I'm going to focus on helping you to understand LinkedIn and how to use it effectively. Okay. The LinkedIn algorithm is everything. And in future trainings, I'll be talking about the Facebook algorithm and all that as well. But today we're talking about the LinkedIn algorithm. It gives priority to personal connections based on personal interests. All right. Now, let me explain this. Personal, we'll go back to that prior slide. Personal connections. You may be following, say, Oprah Winfrey. That's awesome, right? You see that she has 1 million followers. I don't know how many she has. Let's say she has 1 million followers on LinkedIn. You think, oh man, I'm following her and I'm going to be having access to 1 million of Oprah's fans. No, you won't. No, you won't. Because you are not really connected to Oprah Winfrey, are you? You're following her page, you're seeing her posts, but she's not seeing yours. And if she's not seeing yours, none of her friends and other followers are seeing yours either. Okay. How does that work? Because the LinkedIn algorithm ranks every post, and it's based upon people and connections. What does that mean? You may follow famous people, but LinkedIn will know if you are actually communicating with that other person. And with the example of Oprah Winfrey, it knows you are not communicating with Oprah Winfrey. She never responds to your posts. She never, there's no messages going back and forth and things like that. Okay. So it will only connect with people you are talking to. So you could have 1,000 connections on LinkedIn, but if you're never on there posting and commenting and talking to people, it is not going to help you at all. At all. Nobody's going to see anything you're posting except maybe your close number 1 level friends that are in the same company you're working for or something like that. Now, LinkedIn considers who you have directly had these interactions with. That's why if it's someone at work and you're talking back and forth on LinkedIn, you're going to continue to see each other's feeds and posts. So another way, not just on comments and shares, but the little smiley faces and things like that, that all counts in the algorithm. Obviously, comments and shares rank more than emojis, but emojis is one of the ways that it says, oh, he liked this post. And then it'll start showing you other posts from other people that are in the same category and things like that. But let's talk again about Oprah Winfrey. If you made a comment on one of her posts and she just happened to see it and she commented back, now there's a connection made. Okay. It's up to you and her to nurture that connection. You may have received an award and you posted a comment about, oh, congratulations on this award. I was in the audience that day and I was so happy that they chose you, blah, 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 blah. And she comes, well, thank you so much for your support. It means a lot to me. And you comment back, not a problem. I do have a quick question for you. Where did you find that dress that you wore, or something like that? And then she answers back, you have this communication now with Oprah Winfrey that's going to open up the opportunity for your post now to be seen by some more of her people who also commented on that dress or commented on the award ceremony and things. You're not going to be talking to people, about shows that she was on and all that. It'll keep all your communications within the context of where you were communicating. That's how good the LinkedIn algorithm is. Okay. LinkedIn will also consider your profile interests. On your profile, if you said, I like baseball, hot dogs, apple pie, and Chevrolet. Remember that commercial from back in the 70s? And those were all your interests. You're only going to see things about baseball, hot dogs, apple pie, and Chevrolets. You're not going to see any information about football, or very little information about football, about pecan pie or orange sherbet ice cream or anything like that. You're not going to see it, okay? Because the algorithm knows that's not part of your interests. Now, if you start commenting, liking, and sharing other people's posts about football, that will be added to the algorithm that LinkedIn has for you. So then you'll start seeing posts about football, baseball, hot dogs, apple pie, and Chevrolet. So that algorithm learns as you continue to expand your interests. That's why it's so important for you to keep your profiles up to date. Because if suddenly, let's say your grandson is playing in the high school football team, and you start putting posts about high school football and possible colleges he's going to be going to and things like that, the algorithm will pick those up and it'll start showing you other people's posts about high school football, about college opportunities and all that. And as you comment, like, and share those posts, it just strengthens that connection to those people, and they'll start seeing your stuff. And it just can, then their second level and your second level will start seeing those posts, and it just expands your opportunity. That's how good this algorithm is. So it'll also look at the skills you list in your profile. If all you talk about is, I turn wrenches down at the local repair shop for cars, that's the only skill you have, that's all you're going to see. But if you put down, I'm a mechanic at a local car place, I enjoy, on the weekends, I go to car shows. So you got car shows as an interest. I help people at local volunteer shelter, to take care of homeless people, to start seeing, volunteer shelters and things like that. And you'll start seeing more and more of those interests. The algorithm picks up on all of that. People you work with will also, if they're commenting, you'll start seeing comments and shows and pairs, share posts and shares from them as well. That's what the algorithm is doing. So we talked about the algorithm will rank your posts based upon interest and relevance. The interest you have and the relevance to other things you have in your profile. It's based really upon the groups you're part of. If you're not a member of any LinkedIn group, you're wasting a tremendous opportunity. You need to go in, look at the interests that you're really looking at, like podcasting. We'll use that as an example. You're interested in podcasting, podcast training, how to podcast equipment, how to promote your podcast. There are groups for that. You need to be a member of those groups. By being a member of that group, you now have a mutual interest. And as you post in that group and comment in that group and share posts in that group, not just your posts, but other posts as well, and comment on other posts as well, these connections through the algorithm are being cemented, and there more and more things are being added and connected to you, which expands the opportunity, okay? Because it's hashtags. You know about hashtags, especially with Twitter. Facebook's getting into it. LinkedIn is into it. If you put a post out there and put hashtag podcast training, hashtag how to podcast, anyone else in your connections that has used those same hashtags will see your posts. Okay. That's a way of getting the, again, you could have 500-600 connections. 100 people are connected to you for podcasting, but you're only seeing posts from 10 of them, they're only seeing 10 of, 10 people are seeing yours. If you start using hashtags and these podcasting groups as another way of intertwining that web of connection, suddenly you're going from 10 to 60, 70 people that are seeing your stuff and you're seeing their stuff. Okay, and you're communicating back and forth, because that's the third way, people that you are communicating with. You actually have to comment, post, like, share, give value. Don't just start posting stuff. Someone says, oh, the podcast training that I have will help you do XYZ. And you post saying, well, I got podcast training to help you do XYZ and ABC. And you're doing it in their post. That is, one, is rude. Two, it'll get you banned. Three, that is not going to help you build a positive brand at all. Don't try and sell. Don't try and sell. Simply give value and help on the pain points. Okay? Because the other thing they're looking at is what topics you're discussing with each other. If you're on a podcast training page talking about football, it's not going to go anywhere. Right? If you're on a football page and you see someone that has a podcast and you're talking about podcasting on a football page, not going to go anywhere. It has to be mutual interests, mutual connections, mutual groups and hashtags. The topics need to be relevant to each other. Okay, so you need to be managing that as well. So the interest and relevance, again, based upon groups that you're part of, hashtags used, the people and pages they follow. So we talked about how LinkedIn ranks posts with the people you communicate to and the interest and relevance of the communications. The third level is the probability of further engagement. The probability of further engagement. What does that mean? LinkedIn looks at two things to develop their probability that you are going to continue to communicate with this person. One, the likelihood of you commenting or sharing or reacting to a post they share. And the other, it's based upon how you've done so in the past. Again, if you have established these connections and you are nurturing that relationship, you're commenting on their posts, asking questions in the messages. It doesn't have to be public on the post, but in the messages as well. If you do it on the post, it really helps cement the algorithm to help you out. Just, man, this is awesome material, or this is an awesome resource. Thank you so much. And they're coming. Well, Sean Myers has been teaching on this LinkedIn method of communicating and building your business through it. And he asked this question, and it really hit home. If you do that to 10 people. Out of the 10, how many will almost immediately try and sell you into their training program or whatever it is they're trying to sell? 7, 8 of them? How does that make you feel? Like, yeah, I was just commenting because it was a great article, and now this guy's trying to sell me a $700, $800 training program. I don't need that. So you stop communicating with them. You just lost the possible connection to his audience, to him or her, right? So what, they tried to sell you? Do you have to buy it? Are they forcing you to buy it? Well, no, it just feels bad when I tell them no thank you. That's what they're looking for. People like that are looking for the no's. They want the yeses, but if they know they have to go through 200 contacts pitching the same thing to 200 people to get 10 sales, they're looking for the 190 that say no, so they don't have to waste time on you. All right. When I sold insurance for a living, I sent out 200 postcards every week. But I had done that so long, and it was so effective, the method I was using and what I was saying on the postcards and all that. I knew for every postcard I mailed out, which was 200 a week, I would receive 25 phone calls, set 10 appointments, and get 3 sales every week. I knew what the statistics said. Now, sometimes I got 40 phone calls and sold 15 sales. Sometimes I set 25 appointments and didn't sell anybody. The average, though, was 200 cars would net 25 to 30 phone calls, setting 10 to 12 appointments and getting 3 or 4 sales. Those were the averages. And I knew every card I mailed out made me $3.50 or $4.50, whatever it was now, I don't know. But I knew that's what it bore out. So I was mailing out 200 cards expecting 175 people would never even contact me. but I mailed them out anyway because I knew the numbers were in the contacts. That's what these people are doing. They're sending every person that comments, they get the same pitch. You tell them, no, no, thank you. They stop sending it to you. But don't waste that opportunity. Just say, well, not right now. I'm not interested in that, but I have a lot of people I'm in contact with, so I'll keep this. And if a subject conversation comes up, I'll share the information with them. You just did something now that, using my numbers, 175 other people did not ever say. So now I'm going to stay in touch with you because you're going to give me free advertising to your list, the people you're in contact with. This is awesome. I want to stay in touch with you. So now you start chatting back and forth a little bit. You've established that connection. You're talking back and forth. You're liking and commenting on posts. You're messaging each other. LinkedIn's going to make sure you start seeing his stuff and he starts seeing more of your stuff. So as you're posting stuff about helping people, his people are seeing stuff about helping people from you. Okay. So don't burn those bridges just because they tried to sell you something right off. Continue to nurture that. Now, again, LinkedIn's algorithm wants to know what the likelihood is you're going to communicate and comment or like or share on a post. And it's based upon what you've done on the similar types of posts in the past. That's why don't burn the bridge. If someone tries to sell you something, politely say no, but tell them you'll hold this information in reserve because you run into people all the time and you'll be happy to pass it along when the time's appropriate, and then nurture that relationship. Because LinkedIn algorithm also wants to know who you have reacted with the most frequently. So if you're in touch with these people that tried to sell you right off, instead of just burning that bridge and not ever communicating with them again, you may miss out on 1,000 connections. You may miss out on being introduced through one of your posts through that person's connections to someone who will purchase your training program or product or service. So you need to make sure you nurture those relationships. Okay. And the other avenue they look at when on the likelihood that you're going to do something, further engagement, is the timely feedback you give to other posts and the timely feedback you receive from your posts. Okay, what does that mean? Basically, after the post is published, does it sit there for 24 hours with one like? Or do you gather 20, 25, 30 likes in the first hour? The more likes and shares and comments and interaction people are having with your post right after you post it, LinkedIn's going to say, man, we need to publish this even further. So it goes further into the contact stream, through the hashtags, through the groups you're in, similar interests, similar skills. They're sending that out because you have got all this likes and shares going on. They want that to go throughout the system. All right. So if you can strike some type of agreement with people in your little group, okay, like every time we see somebody's post on here, please like and share it. Until we get to 25 or 30 likes and comments and stuff. Even if you don't really want to participate in the training program or whatever you're offering, make that mutual agreement amongst each other. Play that system up so that you will communicate with each other. You'll continue to see each other's stuff, but you're also hitting their second and third level of contacts in the process. Okay, it goes beyond your 600 connections. Now becomes 2,000 connections. Okay, if you were able to do that. If you say, well, I'm not going to do that, that's just not me, you're going to stick with your 600 connections, of which maybe you're actually only communicating with 10 or 20. Okay, that's where you're going to be stuck at. It's not going to help you grow your brand. You need to do all of this to grow the brand. That's what we're talking about here, growing the brand, which will then grow your visibility. Growing your visibility will add people to your list. And when you add people to your list, you're going to increase your business. And that's what the whole point of this is. Okay. So how can you improve your LinkedIn marketing? One, know your audience. Who is it you're trying to reach? What is it your audience is interested in? Right? If all you want to do is talk about football, that's who your audience is going to end up being. People want to talk about football. But if you have a business, if you have a training program, you have something you want to help other people get over a pain point with, that's what you need to talk about. You need to talk about those things, not just, oh, the weather was so cloudy. Look outside, there's snow. What does that have to do with selling widgets? What does that have to do with selling ice to Eskimos? There are Eskimos who need ice. They don't want to go out and chop the ice. They'd rather have you package it up and give it to them. There will be Eskimos that sell ice. Somebody somewhere is selling Eskimos ice. I can guarantee it, right? What a niche, right? Could you imagine going to a business conference and they say, well, what do you do? I sell ice to Eskimos. No, really, I sell ice to Eskimos up in Nome, Alaska. I mean, what a concept. Who would have thought, right? So anyway, what's your audience interested in? And what formats? Now, this is something really interesting. What formats are the favorite for your audience to engage with? What do you mean by formats? I'm talking about text, images, pictures, or video. Now, everyone knows video is popular, but how popular? Well, with engaging with your audience on LinkedIn, if you post an image, just a picture with your text message, with your, what you're posting in the text on the post, you get double the engagements. Just a picture. So if you're going to have a training program and it's about podcast training, and you just put a picture of a microphone with a pair of headphones laying there next to it, you'll get double the engagement than just putting the text out there by itself. That's awesome. Double the engagement just by including a picture. What if you did a short video with it? Hey folks, this is Bob Thibodeau here, and I'm going to be talking tonight about starting your podcast. So if you're interested in starting a podcast, or you're having trouble starting a podcast, come down and just look at this training program I put together for you. You can download the ebook here at the link, and blah, 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 blah. I'm giving this away for free, and good luck at starting your podcast. If you have a question, please comment down below. Boom. Short 1-minute video attached to that post with a free copy of your ebook or your free information resource, wherever, just to get their contact information so you can stay in contact. That would give you 5 times as much interaction as just a straight text post. So if you had a post that had 5 people comment on it and you added an image, you get 10. But if you added a video, like I just explained, that little short 30-second blurb I just did a few seconds ago, you'd get, instead of 5, you get 25 comments. Out of the 25, say 2 or 3 actually get your download. You do that over a course of a month. You got 50 people with your download. Now you got them in your email sequence. You're pitching them. And out of the 50, say 5 purchase your training program. Was it worth it? Absolutely. You're building your brand by doing this, folks. You're building your brand, increasing your list, increasing your marketing presence, which will help you increase your sales, okay? So if you use those 2 methods combined, not video on everyone, not photos on everyone, but you do images and videos alternating, or 2 images for every video or something like that, your relevancy score on LinkedIn with the algorithm increases dramatically. And that's what will put you in front of more people. And that's your whole purpose in this, increasing your brand awareness on LinkedIn. Okay. So promote your posts. Yes, you can use paid ads to promote your posts. But if you're posting 10 times a day, we'll just use that as if you're posting 10 times a day, 5 times a day, whatever, and you're going to promote by advertising one of those posts. That's 30 promoted posts in 30 days. It's going to get expensive. The methods I've been sharing with you are free. The only cost is time, right? And if you want to build your business, build your brand awareness, build all that, you need to do this. You need to do it. Don't forget to tag relevant parties to your posts. If you are quoting someone, let's say you're going to quote one of my posts, something I may have said on a post or something like that, and say, Bob Thibodeau said, da, 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 da. Just don't say Bob Thibodeau. Put a tag in there. That way I automatically get notified that somebody tagged me in one of their posts. What's that going to do? It's going to make me go look at it. It's going to make me go read it. And then I'll comment on your post. Hey, thanks for the tag. I appreciate it. I'm glad you liked the article. Okay. What just happened when you did that? That interaction that increases the algorithm, your relevancy score. Because what are you supposed to do now based upon what we just said? You're going to comment back. Hey, I appreciate it, man. I just enjoy everything you're doing. What's my next question going to be? Well, thank you. What is it you do? Is there something I can help you with? Then you're going to respond back, right? And we got this interaction going. Again, using the Oprah Winfrey story I started with. Imagine you did something like that. Oprah Winfrey on her magazine said, da, 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 and you tag Oprah Winfrey in it. You're all right, follow her. Now you tag her in it. Maybe she sees it and says, oh, wow, thank you for the comment. I do appreciate it. You are now talking and communicating with Oprah Winfrey, which the algorithm picks up on, and now it's going to expand that contact into other people who are following her as well. Folks, this works. The algorithm works. You have to use what they provide and how they're provided. We're going to be talking more about Facebook and all that. Tonight, we're just talking about LinkedIn with this, okay? So be sure you promote your post by sharing it in groups, hashtags, tagging relevant parties, but, use the hashtags. The hashtags are awesome. That system, any person in any of the groups that you are a member of uses a hashtag, podcast, hashtag football, or hashtag high school football, or if it's podcast, right, hashtag podcast, hashtag podcast training, hashtag how to podcast, and anybody else in any of those groups that you're members of uses any of those same hashtags, your post is going to go in front of them. Folks, this is awesome. You need to understand this, all right? And be sure you do not just post on LinkedIn. Use the link to your LinkedIn post on other social media platforms. When you do that, and we're going to get into how this works with other platforms, but when you share your LinkedIn post, say on Facebook, and people on Facebook click on it, where do they come? Right over to your profile on that post on your LinkedIn page. And then they can like it right there, which now increase the internet. They may not be members of LinkedIn. That's okay. It shows is the LinkedIn algorithm is picking up there's interaction taking place on this post. And that's what the algorithm is looking for. People to comment, like, share your posts. And if it's coming from an outside platform to LinkedIn, LinkedIn considers that a bonus, right? Because it's not amongst other people. Now it's reaching out into other areas of the internet sphere, right? And it's drawing people in to LinkedIn from out there. They will be promoting that post even a little bit higher when that happens. Again, that's just ways that you can use the LinkedIn algorithm to your advantage, okay? So with LinkedIn, you need to post when the time is right. Again, this is a business platform, basically. What are the good times to post? You can say, well, I post at 6:30 in the morning before I go to work. And then I'll post at 6:30 at night after I come home, eat dinner, shower, eat dinner, and get ready to relax. I jump on the computer, check my emails, and I'll post then. So 6:30 at night, 6:30 in the morning, 6:30 at night. Well, studies by some people who know what they're looking at. Hootsuite is one. Hootsuite is a posting platform that you can use to post, make one post and then tell it to post to different platforms for you at different times of the day. For LinkedIn, the best time to post is 7:45 a.m. Eastern time. Why 7:45? Well, typically, this is when people are just getting to work. Office people are just getting to work, sitting out their computer. Work starts at 8 o'clock. They got a few minutes. Usually they'll catch up on their LinkedIn profile, who's kind of emails and things like that. So 7:45 a.m. is a great time because when they sit down to open that up, boom, your post is right there in front of them, right? 10:45. Why 10:45? A lot of times that's when people are coming back from their mid-morning break. They sit down real quick and catch up on something. 12:45, they're coming back from lunch. At 5:45, they're getting back home, right? Sitting back home, waiting for dinner, and getting on the computer to catch up real quick. Those are the best times to post on LinkedIn. But that can change for whatever market you are in, whatever your niche is, whoever your target audience is. So you need to, adjust that for your time zone. You might be a business to business thing out in the West Coast. At 7:45 a.m. here is 4:45 a.m. there, right? So you may need to adjust it a little bit to possibly, 8:45 Eastern time, or whatever the case may be for you. Okay. But adjust if necessary. So in summary, fill out your personal profile, keep that up to date. Keep it up to date. You'd be surprised how many times I check something and someone's profile hasn't been updated in 3 years. Okay. You need to go in and update it at least every few months, even if it's just to add a new skill or add a new like or something like that. You need to stay involved in your profile, keeping it up to date. Add connections, people you know or think would be interested in seeing updates from you. If you have a business, encourage your employees to indicate they work at your company, because that's going to use their influence in LinkedIn as well to send people information about your company. And be sure, encourage them to use the corporate hashtag. Follow others, attract others, attract your followers. These are different than connections. Again, followers are people who are willing to see what you have to post, but you are not talking to them, right? They, because you have something on there that they're interested in, they may, well, okay, I'll follow that one. But you're not talking to each other. Turn them into connections. Turn them into people you're interacting with, okay? Participate in the LinkedIn groups, or if you don't have one for your specific niche, let's say your niche is, let's say it's taking your children's clothes, instead of donating them to charity, you take the best ones, you make quilts out of them. That's your niche, helping other people to do the same thing, keep them as heirlooms and things like that. Make a group out of it, a LinkedIn group, Facebook group. Make a group out of it if you can't find one like that, okay? And give and receive recommendations. Hey, I see you like such and such. Tell you what, this person over here, they got an awesome, resource. It's free on their website. You're sending them over to the other person's website, recommending a resource. You've tagged the other person in their resource. That person, okay, you're person A, it's you. You are recommending person B go to person C to get this free resource. You tag person C. Person B thanks you for it. Person C sees it. Person C sees person B got their resource. He's going to thank you, tagging you for it. This intercommunication is going on. You establish credibility because you're not, hey, I don't know it all. I'm not saying I know it all, but I know this guy has what you're looking for. You send him over there. You've established professional credibility, okay? Give and receive those recommendations. Make sure your profile is public so people can find you. And join conversations. Even if you're not really interested in the topic per se, join the conversation. Just comment something like, that's an interesting take. Where did you learn that from? Or, I see you went to college at such and such. I had a friend that went there. When did you go? Start those interactions, okay? Promote your LinkedIn page on your website, of course, and other appropriate spaces, business cards and newsletters, and put it in your email signature line. So every email that goes out has that information with it. And if you can even do customized URLs, okay? So next time I'm going to be talking about Facebook and the Facebook algorithm and how to promote your page to get, thousands of likes to your page within just 30 days. And it's an awesome thing. It is a way to build your credibility on Facebook, put it like that. And we'll cover more of that next time. And depending on how much time we take next time, I'll even start talking about Twitter, and we might just be waiting for that. But as we said, if you remember posting on Facebook, you need to do it at least 5 times a day, minimum 5 times a day. Twitter, minimum 5, preferably 10 times per day. So that's 15 posts. And then LinkedIn, we talked about how each post will last up 24 hours, but to keep it at the top of the feed, so therefore you need to do it every 5-6 hours. So we'll just say 5 times a day on LinkedIn. So that's 20 posts you need to handle. Now, if you're like me, you can do it manually. I don't really have time to do that, but you can also invest in some platforms that will auto post for you. We talked about Hootsuite. That's a popular platform. Basically, a profile with one user, like me, I'm one user. You can post up to 10 different social media platforms. It costs about $29 a month. So you take one post and they'll send it out to up to 10 different platforms. It's $29 a month. Zapier is another common platform. I think the entry level pricing is about $25 a month for them. There are numerous ones out there. You can do a Google search and find them. Some are more complicated than others. Some are more expensive than others. Some are free. Again, the free ones are very limited in what they offer. Okay. You can do these things manually, or you can go ahead and invest in these platforms that handle it for you. Only you can decide what is best for you. Okay. So, I'm not pushing you into anything. Don't let anybody else push you into anything. If these platforms would make your life easier, then absolutely that's the way to do it. There's a learning curve with them. Some of the platforms, you're still required to get the posts and put them in there and tell them what time you want it to post and where and things like that. I don't have a lot of time to learn new stuff like that, especially setting up new platforms. So I stayed away from that for years. Okay. But what I'm about to share with you works for me. Okay. If it works for me, I'm willing to share it with you. I don't share with you things that are not working for me. Again, I learn by doing, and I learn what not to do. And that way I can focus on what does work. And that's what I focus on. And I have found something that is just dynamite. I love it. And it is a place called SocialBee. The platform is called SocialBee. Now, it allows you to post once. It also allows you to grab RSS feeds, like from your podcast or from a blog and things like that, and it will use that post. So now if you're posting to your blog or you are publishing an episode, it automatically grabs that post, right? How awesome is that? It turns it into it sends out different platforms, and it even formats each individual post automatically to go to that particular platform. So because Facebook has different formatting requirements than Twitter. Twitter has different ones than LinkedIn. And these different platforms, different formats, SocialBee does it automatically for you. So you post, automatically your podcast episode is published. And as soon as that thing is published, SocialBee grabs that RSS feed and turns it into a post. And it'll go out to Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Now you can set up the times that you want it to be published on different platforms. Okay. It does it automatically. Okay. Now you can also, this is something that the other ones, I have not found any that have done this except SocialBee. Now there may be some out there. I don't know. Again, I didn't get into that much of it. But when I found out this part here, they will repeat the post as often as you like. So instead of having to post 3 different posts every week, let's say you do a daily post and you're going to do it 5 times a day. That's what, 25 posts? And you're going to do it in 3 different platforms. Now you're up to 75 posts. SocialBee will take the 5 individual posts that you're making and do all the rest for you. They'll post it on whatever platform you want or whatever time you tell it to go out. And the best part is next week, you don't have to come back and make 75 new posts. You don't have to come back and worry about what you're going to say this week. Let's say you have an appointment and you can't post that day, or you're out of town, you can't post that day. SocialBee will take these posts and repeat them as often as you like. You can tell, repeat this 6 times, then don't worry about it anymore. They'll go ahead and take those posts that you're posting throughout the day, and the fresh one will get posted a couple of times, and then they'll go back and they'll grab some of the more popular ones, or you can set it up where it just goes in order. You've got episode number 300, and then later on that day, they're going to grab episode 299 and post it again. And, later on that day, they'll post 298, maybe 297. Tomorrow, you post episode 301. So they'll do that 2 or 3 times. Then later on, they'll post number 300 again, and then 299, 298. And then the next day, it's 302 a couple of times, and 301, 300, 299. It's done automatically. To me, this was awesome. So I didn't have to keep worrying about building content. I could do it once, set it, and forget it. And when you set up through the RSS feed, it's just automatic. This was awesome. That's the main reason I chose the platform. So you've seen how often you have to post to do different social media posts on different platforms. With SocialBee, the more content you load, then the more it will go deeper in helping promote all of that stuff. Without, if you loaded 100 episodes, if you wanted to, it'll post all 100 of them every week. I wouldn't recommend that. If you're only doing, like I said, 10 a day, then it'll grab the most recent 10. Or you could set it to grab the ones with the most interactions, which is a good way of promoting the posts that are really working well. Okay. And you tell it to post to Facebook 10 times a day, and it'll repeat the most recent post 2 or 3 times. You tell it whatever you want it to do. And it'll randomly or specify which post you want it to designate to post to different platforms. Okay. It's important that you don't repeat the same posts over and over and over and over all day long on these social media posts, because their algorithms are going to say, he's saying the same thing. It's the same post, and they're not going to promote it. That's why it has to be different posts every day. Okay. They do this for $19 a month. $19 a month. This is awesome. You need to check it out. Okay. You can connect up to 5 social media platforms at this $19 rate plan. It goes up if you have 10 and all this stuff. 5, $19 a month. And right now, that's what I got. Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, and Pinterest, I think it is. But I'm mainly focusing on the top 3 right now. Okay. So that $19 a month works great for me, and it is an awesome platform. You need to check it out. Okay. Now, this is an affiliate link that is right here. Now, if you decide to click on that link, I will, and buy into that program, $19 a month, I will earn like $2 a month or something. But it is an affiliate link. Remember, I told you at the beginning of this training program, I am completely transparent and above board in everything I'm doing. Okay. If it's an affiliate link, I'm going to tell you it's an affiliate link. If I recommend something and I say it's not an affiliate link, that's the truth. It is not an affiliate link. All right. But this one just happens, they do offer an affiliate program, which means if you purchase this and you sign up and you send it to your best friends and they all jump on it, you get an affiliate commission. All right. I don't get an override on anything you do or anything like that. But if you decide to go with this link, then that is the link that would be used. And I'll put that down in the show notes as we finish this up. So they'll be right there. So that concludes the training for today. Next time, again, the algorithm on Facebook is what I'll be talking about. Depending on time, we'll be talking about Twitter. Now, at this time, I'm going to finish the record. I thank you for paying attention all this time. Just slightly went over an hour. That's why I try and keep this at 1 hour. So I'm going to turn the recorder off, and let me stop sharing here. Okay, I'm going to turn the recorder off, and then we'll take your questions, whatever they may be. Okay. So till next time, this is Bob Tillerman. Remember, come back next week and we're going to talk about Facebook, and check out SocialBee. It's an awesome platform. We'll talk soon.